Second stimulus relief is coming, thank God. And new economic data tonight suggests it's coming just in the nick of time. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is Evening's LALATE. This video is about stimulus. It's generally tagged as EIDL, and I will be touching on EIDL, but I'm trying to move it a little bit more to a general discussion about economics, stimulus, rebounding or double dipping of the economy, and everything else you need to know, whether you're a business owner, a sole proprietor, or just a person waiting for your stimulus check. First, as we sit here tonight, really great progress, as we heard earlier today on LALATE, that a second stimulus package will get approved and a stimulus check will go out in the month of September, most likely. The parties involved have now said they'll go back to the negotiation table and will agree upon elements that they have not even agreed upon what they're having for lunch. New indication today suggests what could be in there, but there's also new indication about why it needs to be in there for a functional purpose. First, LWA is not functioning sufficiently as enough of a replacement for FPUC. As you know, FPUC expired at $600 a week, and I had said for several weeks that I really believe that the ultimate deal between the Republicans and Democrats for FPUC extension will be somewhere between $400 and $600 a week. Well, this came after 2 weeks of Steve Mnuchin offering $400 a week privately, but publicly always using $300 a week as the number. And Nancy Pelosi always talking about $600 a week, a number that I said that would likely not get approved because Republicans just think it's too much money. Well, great news tonight, just the great news keeps on coming, that there's talk that the Republicans will introduce formally that skinny bill that has been drafted, has been sitting on the internet. It's not a bill, it's a draft, it's a proposal that originally tagged FPUC to be extended at $300 a week. Apparently it's going to get revised to $400 a week. This is incredibly great news because I've always said that the deal will be done somewhere between $400 and $600, and that the Republicans' offers of $200 originally under the HEALS Act was a waste of time, and that $300 was a waste of time. Really great news. There also is great news tonight about an eviction moratorium likely to get approved by a new executive order. Mark Meadows today, in yet another interview late in the day, said that the president is sort of sick and tired of stuff not getting done and is going to do more executive orders. This is Mark Meadows' own word. It was not gossip. It was not someone interpreting the situation. It was Mark Meadows saying the president's just had it and start going to issue executive orders. Now, some of these are going to be draconian, and some of them are going to be very anticipated, like eviction moratorium. One of them that's draconian is try to really recapture money paid out in the first stimulus package round to airlines who used the money in a manner that they weren't supposed to use the money for, which was keeping people on the job. They didn't use the money to keep them on the job. They fired the people. And now the president is really irate. What's going on now is sort of a double twist of economic news. First, despite what the president says, the economics is not good. Tomorrow morning is Thursday morning. You know what you're going to have Thursday morning? You're going to have the new unemployment numbers. Where are they going to be? Well, last week, let me back up 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, we were at week 20 of 1 million claims or more since the pandemic started. Before the pandemic started, we were at really incredibly low record unemployment numbers, like 200,000 per week. These are number of unemployment new claims per week. We were at 200,000 before the pandemic. The first week of the pandemic, we went up to 1 million. We stayed at 1 million every single week for 20-something weeks. And then 2 weeks ago, Republicans celebrate because it dropped only 100,000 points. I mean, I guess, yeah, it's still 100,000 points to 900,000, which is nothing to celebrate about. Well, last week, analysts on Wall Street anticipated it was going to improve yet again and drop into the low 900,000. It went the other way. It went way up again to 1.1. Now, what's going on here? What's going on? It's like that famous song is a little bit of confusion because data for economics is coming out at different times, and it's impacting your stimulus check. It's impacting your FPUC. It's impacting your eviction moratorium. Let me explain what's going on. First, tomorrow's data will be based upon the week before's unemployment new claims. That's great. But as we head into late August, we're going to hear the new labor numbers, new jobs numbers, which are based upon July's economic data. As we head into September, we're going to hear based upon August's economic data. Here's the rub. Every economist I have in front of me here tonight says that July's numbers were not good. June was good. June was the effect of the first stimulus package where lockdowns were lifted, businesses reopened, they had PPP money, and there was a pop up. It was like this. It was the V, it was the upward part of the V. But then July, lockdowns got reissued. COVID-19 cases got very bad. States had to go back on the lockdown or go what's called, watch lists, like in California. And so a lot of businesses couldn't keep their doors open. July's economic numbers are bad. As we sit here in August, we really don't know if August is going to be better or worse. Here's an example. For example, in California, Orange County got off the watch list last week. San Diego County got off the watch list. That means they're reopening a ton of businesses that have been closed for, 30-something, 60 days. All those businesses will reopen. There'll be more jobs, less people on unemployment, more economics, better economics, and more money going through the system. So could those good numbers ultimately, twist the negotiations of the stimulus package? Hard to say. The Chinese government actually is a very interesting example detailed on CNBC this morning. They threw a ton of stimulus on their economy, and they stepped in with some stimulus that we expect is going to create further momentum into the next calendar years. Things are looking pretty positive and pretty resilient, says BHP Group CEO Mike Henry. He says there's going to be sharp contraction in the global economy in other countries where they didn't throw enough stimulus. They're going to struggle, but China apparently is doing incredibly well because they threw a lot of stimulus. Drew Hamill, who's head of Nancy Pelosi's chief of staff, and Mark Meadows, who's Donald Trump's chief of staff, both were communicating today and yesterday, which is really great news. The HEROES Act is not 100 or 200 pages long, like that guy in the purple shirt once said. It's 1,800 pages long, and people just don't like what's in there. It would be the most expensive piece of legislation ever signed of recent memory. And, at $3-something trillion, Nancy Pelosi said she'll cut it to $1 trillion, but the Republicans are trying to one-up her by floating this draft, the skinny bill tonight, which is nearly at $500 billion. It's that small. Not that $500 billion is small for people. But the issue tonight is really what could happen to EIDL, what could happen to PPP money, what could happen to grants, what could happen to your stimulus checks and FPUC, and what could happen to eviction moratorium. A lot of things are going to happen very quickly. EIDL loans and EIDL grants won't be part of this second stimulus package. By no indication is there going to be a merging of EIDL proposed legislation into a stimulus package. It just doesn't seem like it's going to happen. So there is that legislation out there that's proposed for EIDL grants. There is that legislation out there that's proposed for EIDL loans, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen. The skinny bill from the Republicans, guess what it has in there? PPP money, absolutely has it in there. Nancy Pelosi was asked to put it in her bill, which it did not, and she said she'll do it. So the powers that be are not behind EIDL being extended. I don't know why. I'm not there. But the Republicans and Democrats just don't want to do another round of EIDL or refund EIDL or do more EIDL grants or raise the cap of EIDL loans. They just have never said that is among the things they want to do. So if you're in the process of EIDL or you're thinking about an EIDL loan, go get it. There are funds still there for you. Don't wait around. We never know if Javita Carranza, head of SBA, if we wake up one morning and she says, hey, EIDL loan is gone. She has never had a good sense of the economics of her own operation. She has said that there was money there and there wasn't money there. She said she needed to put a cap, but she didn't need to put a cap. She said she was not providing loans over $80,000. She was providing loans at $300,000. She never seems to understand the numbers of what's going on in her own office. So the bottom line is that if you need a loan and you're a sole proprietor, you're a single individual, or you have a business that's 500 employees or less, go get the loan. Go get it on file. It's a 24-hour turnaround sometimes if you have a very simple return. If you have something complicated, it could take longer. Finally, I haven't done this video in a long time. Are there certain industries that EIDL just traditionally doesn't really, respect, that always really wants to cause them a lot of problems and doesn't want to approve them? Yes, I've detailed them as well. It's not to say you don't get loans from these if you're in these genres of businesses. They have given loans. It's just to say that there's a ton, not a few, a ton of viewers who are from these genres of businesses who got denied due to no economic injury and had to go through a reconsideration process, prove that they were this, and finally got it funded. They are real estate management, real estate brokers, real estate operations, real estate renovations, and the arts. Absolutely all across the board. I even did a video with one of the viewers who is suffering this problem. The arts, they just don't seem to want to send those type of loans out. But for everyone else, when we come to stimulus, when we start to stimulus checks and FPUC and all that wonderful stuff, great news. It's been an incredible day. If you like this video, which I hope you do, hit that like button on the front of this channel. Or on this video, hit that like button, go to this front of this channel and hit the subscribe and alert button if you're new to this channel. We love that you've joined us. We reached 200,000 subscribers last week. We're trying to reach 25,000 subscribers in the next 14 days from last Saturday, and we're on a good path. We're already, almost halfway there in just a few days. Coming up tomorrow morning, this is Mornings LALATE, where I'll have more great news about this progress finally in the second stimulus package and stimulus check. Join me tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling, and stay of LA for more.